Hello, Rose8767 here, bringing you the final episode of Traps on Sixam. I know it took me a while for me to do this, I don't know why, but here we are. So here we are with Miss Paris Solano today. Oh my god, I forgot to mute my phone. Anyway, here we are with Miss Paris Solano today. So, we're kind of following up on her story just a little bit. Paris got herself her own house. She has a nice place to live, as you can see, and it's just it's kind of designed for a small family. She's got a like a 2-bedroom house. She really wants to meet that special man. Excuse me, oh god. I don't know why I've been very weird on camera today, lately. But anyway, I don't know why she's going upstairs to eat. Anyway, she's got a nice house. She's got a nice job now, so that's the thing. I had her go ahead and, watch TV because she's kind of dreaming. She's kind of dreaming of that, oh, I'm sorry, you can't see the UI. She's watching the season premiere of a new series. I forgot that I recorded this without the UI. But, she's kind of, watching the season premiere of a new series, and on her really big flat screen TV in her really nice, pretty, living room upstairs. And it's very vintage glamour style. Excuse me, oh god. I don't know why I keep doing this, yawning, burping, whatnot on camera. I don't know why. I need to edit stuff like that out, apparently. But yeah, that's pretty much what her home life is like. She's trying to meet the perfect man, and she's still obsessed with getting married. And yeah, that's pretty much her life. She did get a job though. I had her go ahead and get a job, and I will show that later. I also had her join a club. So she went ahead and joined the Knights of the Hedge Club. So here we are at the Von Hahn Estate, though because it is winter currently, she's not in her night costume, unfortunately, but that makes her easier to spot. But yeah, she's now friends with all the people in the club, or at least, yeah, she's friends with the people in the club. She tried to go play chess, but there weren't only so many chessboards, and all of the other ones were already taken. So she didn't have real... Excuse me, I'm sorry. I just woke up, so that's probably why I'm doing that. But she, she tried to play chess, and there weren't many chessboards to choose from, so all of them were already taken. So she was out of luck for playing chess. I was going to have her explore the hedge maze, but then she started to use the other chessboard, and that's where the drama occurred, so we'll see that in a second. So when she was unable to play chess, she went over and introduced herself to this guy who thought she was like, oh, this could possibly be my future husband. Well, he didn't take too kindly to her. In fact, he literally threw her, after introducing herself to him, he literally threw a drink in her face. Who does that? So, having been mad that she says hi to him, and he throws a drink in her face, that she decided she was gonna basically argue with him, insult him, and all these other things. And I don't know why she's not doing that right now. I guess she's contemplating the actions. But she basically gets in a fight with him. She starts arguing, she starts insulting him. There we go. Now she's arguing, now she's insulting. Now she's being mean to him. Because who the heck, after introducing yourself, throws a drink in your face? Who does that? Who does that? Anyway, so yeah, she went ahead and argued with him. She gave him a mean gift because he deserved it, which is a fart in a box, apparently. And Then she, anytime now, girl, anytime now. Game lags so much, I swear. Anyway, proceeded to... I think at this point he had to kind of like sit down to process with his actions, because he's like, have I been a jerk my entire life? Have I really just thrown a drink in a girl's face as she's yelling at me and whatnot? And then once he stood back up, they literally got into a fist fight after this. So it took him a minute, so I'm pretty sure he was processing his life choices right there. And then they got into a fist fight. Like, right now. Hello? Getting in a fist fight. Like, you literally were supposed to get into a fist fight. Come on, guys. Does it really take that long to get into a fist fight? Oh my god. But yeah, they're gonna get into a fist fight. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here they go. And she won. He got beat up by a girl. So, yeah, I think he really needs to process life choices. Anyway, here we are. Paris found a friend on the street. He just randomly approached her, said hi, and she decided she was gonna cloud gaze with him and get to know him, and all these things, and possible new boyfriend, and yeah, so she got to know him a little, and she learned he was a little artistic, which she enjoyed, like that. He was a natural singer, which is a custom trait to have, and she liked that too. And then, one more thing she found out is that he loves family. He's like family oriented or something like that. And she's like, okay, this is a possible new husband. So she's definitely keeping an eye on him. And she does think he needs to get a little bit of a makeover if he's going to be her husband, but I can fix that. But yeah, Paris is really liking this guy, and they're becoming really close. In fact, it was really easy for them to become friends, and she thinks they might be able to become more than friends at some point. And that would be good for her, because she really needs that. They went ahead and went inside because she invited him to hang out. Oh, while I had Paris go ahead and do the, what's it called? The positivity challenge, so that's why those gift boxes are there. So she managed to earn the custom trait, which is probably why her what's it called? Her social is so high, and her socials went up so high, which is because it's like super friendly or something like that. So this is why she was able to earn the, and she has the posters too. Anyway, now we have Paris at her career. Paris decided that she was going to become a police officer after the events of the whole alien thing. That, well, actually, no, they probably don't remember the alien thing, but, because it was an alternate timeline. But, Paris, technically they were at the club, so they might have known about it, but it was like an alternate timeline, so they really don't know all the events. But Paris decided she was going to become a police officer, and we had her go ahead and go to her first day of work, where she helped out on a case. She wasn't actually a lead detective yet, or a lead person on the case yet. So she's only a cadet right now. She's just like right out of police school. She's she's like right out of the police academy, basically. And she's gone ahead and looked up at get her first assignment, which is to help out on a case, which we'll get into in a little bit. But there was some interesting stuff that happened, like this lady over here who's literally going to lurk over us as we work. Like, sweetheart, we're not on social media. Can you not lurk over me, making sure I'm doing everything I'm supposed to? I may be the new guy, but that doesn't give you the right to micromanage me. Like, do you have to absolutely, do you actually have to, I don't know why I said absolutely. Do you actually have to, literally lurk behind me, over my shoulder, or over Paris' shoulder to make sure we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Like, sweetheart, really? Like, look at this girl. And first of all, she thinks she's real fancy because she got her custom CC hair, and to go with her, like, and she's just lurking over us. It's like, why? Who are you? Anyway, we're at the crime scene, and this is the Bjergsen's reticent, but I'm pretty sure in this timeline the Bjergsens are probably dead. And, well, not all of them. Probably they're like grandchildren or children are living in this house right now, and they're with their families, something like that. But apparently somebody destroyed the TV. Like, apparently the crime here was that somebody set fire to a lot of the stuff, so they burned the TV, they burned the stereo, because apparently setting fire to the electronics is a thing that people do in The Sims. But they set fire to this TV, so the TV is burnt. The stereo is burnt. And if we go over here, I was looking around trying to find the trying to find like the stuff that needed to be taken pictures of and swabbed. But if we go over to the kids' room, here we have the grand piano has been burnt. So we went over there and we took a crime scene photo, and then we swapped for a sample. And then you also have the guitar, the poor guitar, and the poor grand piano have been burnt, as well as the TV and the stereo. And those seems to be the only items that like people set on fire. While we were in the room, because this is where the most damage was done, the grand piano was expensive, and so was the guitar. So we went ahead and searched for clues, and we found like some kind of hanky or something that probably somebody used to like put the gasoline on the item, so only they. Of course, alarm clocks. I am so sorry. That was my alarm clock. I was like, if I haven't woken up at 9, then I'm waking up. So I probably just should have turned my phone off. But yeah, we found like a dirty hanky on the floor, which is probably like something somebody used to literally wipe glycerol or something, whatever it's called, on the object, so only they would burn. Which I can imagine, because like, I don't know how you'd burn just certain items. I imagine you were wiping a certain chemical on them, so they would catch on fire, not the rest of the house. But I don't know. But it looks like actually the workout equipment upstairs had also been burnt. But I already got all the information. But I already had gotten all the information I needed for like samples, because there's like only so much you need. So I was looking for a witness. Now that witness over there, it wouldn't let me talk to. Apparently he decided to leave the crime scene. So I was going to go ahead and talk to that witness instead. So I went over to question. I went downstairs. I went downstairs to question that witness, which took Paris, a little bit to get there, because she was what, on the second floor, I think? No, she was on the first floor. She just had to walk all the way over there, which took her a little bit. She was still doing stuff and investigating stuff in the bedroom. And then she went ahead and she walked over. She only went to the stairwell, which I don't understand why, but she went to the stairwell and she basically was like, "Hey you, I'm going to question you, so you need to tell me exactly what went on here." So yeah, that's basically like how it went down in my mind. She was like questioning him from the stairwell. Anyway, we went ahead and went back to the police center, where it gave me the it asked me to basically scan evidence successfully. So that tends to take a while when you're first doing the criminal career, unless you somehow have high logic skill, which usually you don't when you're starting out as a sim. And she didn't really do anything logic in this series. So in like the alternate timeline, first of all, didn't even play a factor. First of all, she wasn't with us for most of the alternate timeline. Second of all, I doubt she did anything logic while we weren't playing her. So really, she doesn't have any logic skill, which will come later. So that's why I basically took like 3 tries later to do this. It literally, like, this one, which is taking a while to actually first of all do it, took like, I don't know, it took her a while to get her first of all to do this. She literally just stood there for like God knows how long because lag. Like, everybody else was doing their thing, and they were doing it properly. She just stood there contemplating what this machine is. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you threw me in front of this machine and said, here, do this stuff, I'd be like, what the hell? How do I start this? How do I do this? And she like stood there contemplating what the machine is, and then she figured out how to do it. So, I mean, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably be like examining the machine, trying to figure out how the heck I turned it on before I even did anything with it. But yeah, she put the samples into the little spinny thing. Spin thing goes around and it starts examining stuff, like how a real crime scene little machine here works. And then she started looking up, and then it ended up telling her absolutely nothing. Because apparently in The Sims 3, The Sims 4, some evidence can tell you absolutely nothing about the crime. But that's not how that works in real life. I mean, the evidence always, in a crime scene, evidence always tells you something. It may not always tell you who the actual perpetrator is. It might lead you down a different road for a bit, but evidence always tells you something. Evidence always leads somewhere. There are just multiple things it could lead you to. You could always have a suspect, but they didn't actually do it. I like that The Sims 4 has suspects that you can arrest that didn't actually do it, but the evidence should still lead you to those suspects. Like that's the thing that I don't get. Because evidence always leads you to suspects. It just, unfortunately, sometimes can lead you to the wrong suspect in real life. But that's when they realize usually, most of the time they realize that their evidence is really leading them to the wrong suspect because they investigate more. But sometimes they don't. There have been false arrests before, which is a thing, unfortunately. But there also have been many suspects that didn't do it, and they investigate more, and then they find other people who they think did do it. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but you know, there's many a case, you could look it up. There's many a case where they had like 9 suspects, and then they arrested the person individually who did do it. Sometimes they even come up with a new person altogether by investigating more, and they'll have like 10 suspects, and they'll find an 11th by investigating fully. And the 11th is the one who did it, so. Anyway, well, we're waiting for her to do all this. I was watching an interesting movie series lately. Lately. I was watching a movie series that was interesting recently. It was called Camp Blood. I watched up to technically there's 9 movies, but not really. See, there's like 2, Camp Blood 1 and 2, which were actually pretty good. I liked the twists in both of them, and I like that the killer is the one you least suspect. In like all of the first 3, but the 4th one, which technically apparently also counts as 3, is the killer who you least suspect. But the first 2 are pretty good, but they're like, you know, Camp Blood 2. Then it gets tricky. So the 3rd one is called Within the Woods, and then the 4th one, which also apparently also counts as a 3rd one, but because it's by a different director, is like The Lost Foot. No, it's It's a found footage one, but it's basically like the Camp Blood First Slaughter, and they both technically count as number 3, which I don't know how that works, in my opinion. But then I started watching number 4, and I regret that crap. Like, what the heck? That was so bad. And they released 4, 5, and 6 at the same time, which makes me not want to. Why are you in your dark form? Why are you in your dark form? I'm gonna fix that with MC Command Mod like right now, because I'm tired of these vampires that I like. They're literally vampires that I put in the game or I made, and they're just randomly walking around their dark form. Like, why? Why is this a thing, EA? Why can't they fix themselves and get out of their dark form? Anyway, Camp Blood, really bad movie. No, Camp Blood 4, really bad movie. First 2 are they're cheesy, but they're good cheesy. They're like a good cheesy. They're low budget, you can tell that, and the effects and stuff are cheesy. But the story is really, really well thought out. That's what sells them. The first 3 have really good story, and that's what really makes them good, in my opinion. They may have horrible camera quality and horrible effects, but they literally have such a good story they're worth watching. However, Camp Blood 4, which technically would be Camp Blood 5, is so bad that it's not even. I was infuriated after watching it. I was like, how do you go from really good story and really good to go with your really bad effects and your bad effects and bad camera quality to literally 15 minutes of people getting ready with bad music, and then 15 minutes of people dancing with bad music, and then 20 minutes of no talking and recap of the previous movie, and then end it with a 20, 30, I don't even know how long it was, minutes of random chase scene with really bad music and slow motion. Like, clearly the budget was, they spent so much budget on they had so little of a budget, and they split it between 3 movies, like, instead of making one really good movie. I'm sorry, it was just horrible quality. Number 4. I'm apprehensive about watching the other 2, 5 and 6 at this point. And I mean, I'm also apprehensive now about watching 7 and 8, because those are things. But yeah. Anyway, back to The Sims, because that was my little rant there. She's kind of going after she finished. Basically, what she did, she finished her duties while I was ranting. She basically, filed the evidence after getting it successfully analyzing. Then she went ahead and she she examined the people. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and go over to Jane and, oh god, what was his name? Eva. So here we have Jane. He and Eva are now living in a very dark-looking mansion in Forgotten Hollow. They came into some money after all what happened, and they now live in this very big, very gothic mansion, and they're living it up. They really are. They have this really nice, spooky looking, but really nice mansion in Forgotten Hollow, and it's extremely rich looking. And then, Eva Arnett became a Grandmaster Vampire, and she went ahead and decided to turn Jane into a vampire so that he could forever be her immortal lover, instead of him dying of old age and she being sick, and then she becoming a widow. Because they're married now. And there really isn't much to tell with them. They're both unemployed. They really they surviving off their wealth they came into after it, because apparently Eva Arnett comes from a really rich family, and her vampire father died, which means she got money. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. I love you all, my beautiful lovelies, and I'll see you all in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Bye!